Hello and welcome back to Horoscope TV. It is fantastic to have you with us again.
It's great to be back.
We are looking at the charts, we're tracking the transits, and we are diving headfirst into a week that I think is going to be talked about for a long, long time.
It definitely has that feel, doesn't it? There's some weight to it.
There is, and we're focusing specifically on the week of February 9th to February 15th, 2026.
A very specific window of time.
Exactly. And for this session, we are narrowing our lens, we are filtering out the noise, and focusing entirely on one sign.
Which is necessary this week. The energy is just so concentrated.
So, if you were born under the sign of the twins, if you are a Gemini, this is your dedicated forecast.
It is good to be here. And honestly, looking at the astrological data for this specific week in February 2026, I am so glad we are dedicating the whole session to Gemini.
Why is that?
Because usually, a weekly forecast is a mix of maybe this, maybe that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of diffuse energy.
A little bit for everyone.
Right. But looking at your chart for this week,
Mm.
it's architectural.
Yeah.
It's structural. There is a narrative unfolding here that is incredibly precise.
That is exactly what jumped out at me when I was reviewing the planetary movements. It doesn't feel like just a random collection of days, does it?
Not at all. It's a story.
It feels like a story with a very specific conflict. We have this massive emphasis on career ambition, like really high-octane drive.
Unmistakable.
But then it's slamming right into this wall of what the notes call social discipline.
Precisely. It is a tug of war, and it's a high-stakes one. The two ends of the rope are public success and private conduct.
So the mission, if we want to call it that, of this analysis is to figure out how a Gemini survives and, ideally, thrives in that tension.
It's all about navigating that tension. Because on one side, we have Venus doing some very, very interesting things regarding your public image.
Making things look good.
Making things look very good. And then on the other side, we have the heavyweight champion of the solar system, Saturn, making a massive move into Aries.
And those two energies just do not feel like they belong in the same week. It's like putting a diplomat and a drill sergeant in the same room.
That is the headline. That's it right there. The entry of Saturn into Aries is a generational shift. And for it to happen during a week where Venus is trying to make everything look pretty and effortless,
That's the crux of it.
that is the crux of the issue. The mission for you, the listener, is to understand that balance. This week is a potential turning point for your long-term trajectory.
A turning point in what way?
It's about who you know, how you are seen, and realizing that the fun part of your social life and the serious part of your career are about to collide in a major way.
Okay, let's get into the weeds then. Section 1. The big picture. The general atmospheric forecast. If we had to put a headline on the vibe for the week, it seems to be your career and public image are the main characters.
They absolutely are. There's no question. If you are a Gemini, I want you to imagine that starting Monday morning, there is a spotlight following you around. And it's not a soft candlelit glow. It's not a filter. It is a high-beam stadium light.
So there's nowhere to hide.
Nowhere. The core energetic concept here is visibility. Everything you do in the professional sphere is amplified.
Visibility can be terrifying, though. I mean, for a lot of people, that sounds like a nightmare.
It can be. It absolutely can be. But in this specific configuration, it's not about being exposed in a negative way, at least not at first. It's about looking good to the world.
Looking good.
Energetically, this translates to confidence, magnetism, a certain radiance. It is not just about doing the work. It is about the performance of doing the work. The universe is asking you to step up and be seen.
And this looking good energy isn't vague. It has a start date, a very specific ignition point, February 10th. That's when Venus makes her move.
Correct. On Tuesday, February 10th, Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, and attraction, enters the very top of your chart.
Okay, let's break that down for people who aren't staring at charts all day. What does top of the chart mean?
So if you imagine the zodiac wheels are like a clock face, the top of the chart is high noon. It's the 10th house, also called the midheaven.
Midheaven. I like that name.
It's the zenith. It's the highest point the sun reaches in the sky. Astrologically, it represents your highest aspirations, your reputation, your career, your standing in the community. It is the part of you that strangers see first.
So usually the 10th house is associated with Capricorn, right? It's about hard work, climbing the mountain, paying your dues. It's effort.
Exactly. Usually the 10th house demands grit. It demands blood, sweat, and tears. It's the long, slow climb. But here comes Venus.
And she does not do blood, sweat, and tears.
Not at all. Venus is the planet of ease, of beauty, of attraction. She doesn't work for things in the traditional sense. She attracts them. She magnetizes them to her. So when Venus moves into that 10th house sector, she brings what we call grace.
Grace is such an interesting word in a career context. What does that actually feel like on a day-to-day basis?
It feels like the friction just disappears. You know those days where you're pushing a boulder uphill and every single step is a struggle?
I know them well.
This is the opposite. This is the boulder rolling downhill, and you're just gently guiding it. It implies favor.
Favor from who?
From people in power. From the universe, really. It means people like you, and they might not even know why. You walk into a room, and the temperature changes. It becomes warmer.
So it's a social lubricant, almost.
That's a great way to put it. Bosses who are usually grumpy are suddenly smiling at you. Clients who are usually difficult are suddenly charmed and agreeable. You are carrying a grace card in your pocket for the first half of the week.
That sounds incredible. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Leverage that for all it's worth, right?
You should. You absolutely should.
And there's always a but in astrology. We have Valentine's Day, February 14th. The vibe shifts, and it shifts dramatically.
It does. It's like the music changes from a symphony to heavy metal in an instant. This is where the whiplash comes in. On February 14th, Saturn enters Aries.
Okay, now, Saturn. Let's characterize him for a second. If Venus is the fun, popular diplomat who brings gifts, Saturn is what?
Saturn is the principal. He's the auditor. He's the tax inspector. He's the lord of karma and time.
So, not fun.
He is not interested in whether you are having fun. He's interested in whether you are building something that will last. He demands structural integrity. He taps on the walls and listens for the hollow spots.
And he's moving into Aries, a new sign for him.
A very new environment. And this creates a very specific flavor of discipline. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the spark. It's about identity, initiative, raw courage, the I am principle.
So what happens when the planet of structure meets the sign of impulse?
He demands maturity regarding your independence. He's asking, are you really an adult? Can you stand on your own 2 feet? Is there substance behind your confidence, or is it just bravado?
So we go from the free lunch energy of Venus earlier in the week, where everyone loves you for no reason,
Yes.
to the pay the bill energy of Saturn on the weekend, where you have to prove you deserve to be at the table.
That is the core tension. That's the whole story of the week. The universe gives you a gift on Tuesday. That's Venus. But then on Saturday, Saturn arrives and asks, okay, that was nice. Now, what are you going to do with this influence? Are you just enjoying the applause, or are you actually going to lead?
Wow. And the notes here mention a very specific application of this tension. It says, get serious about who you associate with.
Yes, this is crucial. This is maybe the most important takeaway for the entire week.
Why?
Because Gemini is an air sign. You are the connectors, the social butterflies. You love variety. You thrive on it. You love knowing the mailman, the CEO, the artist, and the bartender. And you treat them all with a similar level of curiosity.
But Saturn doesn't like that.
Saturn in Aries is discriminatory. It is not about equality. It's about integrity. It says you cannot bring everyone with you to the next level.
That sounds really harsh.
Saturn is harsh, but it's protective. This week is about realizing that not everyone in your circle is compatible with that high visibility 10th house reputation you are building. Some people are assets to that reputation, and some are liabilities.
So it's not just about your work product, it's about the quality of the company you keep.
It's all about the quality of the company you keep. Starting this weekend, the people around you are a direct reflection of your own maturity and seriousness.
Okay, that's a huge theme. Let's drill down into that career piece a bit more. Because you mentioned this is a 5-star week for progress. We talked about Venus in the 10th house giving you that soft power. I want to know what that looks like on a Tuesday morning at the office.
Okay, practically. It looks like presence. Let's say you have to give a presentation. Without Venus there, you might rely entirely on your data points, your slides, your logic. You're trying to win with facts.
Which is a very Gemini thing to do.
A very Gemini thing to do. But with Venus in the 10th, you rely on rapport. You walk in, you make eye contact, you make a joke that lands perfectly, you compliment the client on something specific and genuine, and suddenly they're not just listening to your data, they are rooting for you.
So it's less about I am right and more about we are in this together.
Exactly. It creates consensus. It makes people want to say yes. If you have been waiting to ask a VIP for a favor, or if you need a signature from a boss who is usually impossible to pin down, do it when Venus is active.
So Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. The theme is people are willing to help you succeed. It's almost like they feel that by helping you, they get to be part of your glow.
But I'm looking at the timeline, and there is a flashing red light on my calendar for February 12th. That's Wednesday. Mercury joins the North Node.
Yes.
Now, Mercury is Gemini's ruling planet. This isn't just a background transit. This is personal. This is the main character's big scene.
This is deeply personal. For a Gemini, Mercury is their avatar in the game. It is their operating system. It represents their mind, their voice, their curiosity, their nervous system.
And the North Node, what is that exactly?
The North Node represents our karmic destiny. It's the compass needle of the soul, pointing to true north. It's the direction your soul needs to go in to grow and evolve in this lifetime. It's often uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
So when the ruling planet, your avatar, hits that destiny point,
You get a fated event, a course correction, a signpost.
define fated event. Are we talking about lightning strikes and sudden job offers from a mysterious stranger, or is it more subtle than that?
It can be dramatic, but usually it's more of a sliding doors moment. It's a pivot point. It implies that a conversation happening on or around February 12th could change your professional trajectory forever.
That is a lot of pressure for a Wednesday. How do you prepare for something like that?
It is, but here's the key.
Mhm.
You usually don't instigate it, you receive it.
Meaning what?
Meaning, the advice for Wednesday isn't to talk more. Gemini loves to talk. You love to explain, to debate, to brainstorm.
Guilty.
But on the 12th, the advice is to listen. Be open. Be receptive. The information that changes your life is coming to you. If you are too busy projecting your own ideas, you might miss the signal.
Can you give me an example?
It could be a casual comment from a mentor over coffee. It could be an email that seems insignificant at first but contains a hidden opportunity. It could be overhearing a conversation that sparks a revolutionary idea. You have to recognize that conversations on this day have more weight than usual. They are karmically charged.
So keep the ears open and the mouth relatively shut on the 12th.
Exactly.
Then 2 days later, Valentine's Day, Saturn hits Aries. We talked about how this affects the quality of your circle. How does the networking strategy actually change?
It shifts from networking for fun to networking for strategy. Gemini usually loves the quantity of connections. You want to be the person who knows a guy who knows a guy. It's a game. It's stimulating. Saturn in Aries says, stop. That's a waste of energy. Who are your generals? Who are your lieutenants? Who is in your inner circle?
It's the difference between a cocktail party and a war room.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Yes.
Yes. A cocktail party is about breadth. A war room is about depth and trust. Saturn pushes you to align with people who are disciplined, reliable, and serious about their own ambitions.
So you're looking for people who mirror that Saturn energy.
You are. It's about building alliances with substance rather than just flash. If you are spending time with people just because they are fun, but they're unreliable, they show up late, they spill secrets, they don't have their own lives together, Saturn will make that dynamic very uncomfortable starting on the 14th.
How so?
You will feel a physical need to distance yourself. Their flakiness will suddenly feel grating, not charming. Their lack of discipline will feel like an anchor weighing you down. Saturn is forcing you to upgrade your peer group.
That actually leads perfectly into the next section because who you are with bleeds right into love and romance. The header for this section is high profile and high stakes.
It really is. And the reason romance is so high stakes this week is because Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and relationships, is not in your house of dating. She is sitting in that 10th house of career and reputation.
So love and work are not separate categories right now. They are blended.
Completely blended. This could mean finding love at the office or with someone in your industry. But more broadly, it means your romantic attractions are tied to your ambitions.
We're seeing a power couple vibe emerge.
Yes, that's the perfect term for it. A Gemini isn't looking for a Netflix and chill partner this week. You are looking for an advisor, a co-conspirator, a partner in crime, someone you can take to the gala.
Someone who looks good on your arm.
Someone who looks good on your arm and someone whose ambition complements your own.
That sounds a little superficial, doesn't it? Does this person make me look good?
It can be superficial, yes, if that's the only criterion. But psychologically, it's about integration. Gemini is feeling incredibly ambitious and visible right now. You want a partner who understands that ambition, or better yet, matches it.
So it's not just about looks, it's about shared drive.
It's about feeling proud of your partner. It's about walking into a room and feeling like you are half of a dynasty, not like you're hiding your partner in the corner. You want a teammate.
Okay, that makes more sense. However, there's a but. We have to talk about the danger zones, because it's not all galas and champagne. There is some tricky energy involving a point called Lilith.
Ah, Lilith, the troublemaker.
For those who don't know, who is Lilith in the chart? She's not a planet, right?
No, she's a mathematical point,
Mhm.
but she carries immense symbolic weight. Lilith represents raw, untamed primal energy. In mythology, she was the first wife of Adam who refused to submit to him and was cast out of Eden.
So she's a rebel.
She is the ultimate rebel. In astrology, she represents the part of us that rejects social norms. She is our repressed anger, our raw sexuality, our desire to break the rules, the wild, untamable part of the psyche.
And we have two squares involving Lilith this week. A square is a bad thing, right?
It's an aspect of tension. It's a conflict. It's a challenge you have to consciously navigate. The first one is on February 10th. Mercury squares Lilith.
Words have power, so use them wisely. That's the warning in the notes.
Think about it. Mercury is your mouth, your words. Lilith is your repressed rebellion. A square means they are fighting for control of your voice.
So what does that look like in real life?
It suggests a slip of the tongue that is potentially disastrous.
Like a Freudian slip.
Or worse. It could be gossip, spite. Imagine you are in that high-stakes meeting using your Venus charm. Everything is going perfectly, and suddenly Lilith takes over and you make a snarky, cutting comment about a competitor. Or you reveal a secret that wasn't yours to tell, just for the shock value.
And because this is all happening with that spotlight on,
The fallout is public. The damage to your reputation could be immediate. The advice here is strict. Keep secrets. Do not engage in office gossip. If you walk into the break room and people are trash-talking the boss, turn around and walk out.
don't even listen.
Don't even listen. Lilith wants you to join in, to add a juicy detail. And if you do, Mercury ensures you will be the one who gets caught.
Okay, that's a clear warning for Tuesday. Then we have the second danger zone on Sunday, February 15th. Venus squares Lilith.
Now, the conflict moves from words to relationships and values. Venus represents the social contract, the polite, harmonious relationship. Lilith represents the primal urge, the messy reality.
So what happens when they square off?
It creates a public challenge to a relationship.
What does that look like? Give me a scenario.
It looks like a private matter linking into the public sphere. Maybe you have a simmering argument with your partner, but instead of handling it at home, it explodes at a restaurant in front of your friends. Or maybe an embarrassing detail about your dating life becomes office knowledge in a way you didn't intend.
Unnecessary drama.
Unnecessary drama and potential scandal. With Venus in the 10th house, your love life is more public than usual, and this square to Lilith threatens to make it public in the worst possible way.
So discretion is the better part of valor here.
Absolutely. Keep private matters strictly private, especially on Sunday the 15th. Do not post a vague, passive-aggressive status on social media. Do not change your relationship status to "it's complicated" just to get a reaction. Keep the door to your private life firmly closed.
Understood. Moving on to money and finance. The theme here is structure over luck.
Correct. And this ties back perfectly to the career focus. The source of wealth for you right now is tied directly to career success and reputation. This is not the week for lottery wins or finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
So no get-rich-quick schemes.
Definitely not. The notes say there is potential for a raise or bonus, and that's true.
Okay.
But we have to look at the mechanics. That potential for more money stems from that positive Venus energy in the 10th house. People in charge like you, they see your value, so they want to pay you what you're worth.
That's the end.
That's the opportunity. However, with Saturn moving into the 11th house of gains at the end of the week, the money comes through structured plans.
Wait, explain the 11th house. I always thought the second house was money.
A great question. The second house is your personal wealth, your salary, what you earn from your direct labor. The 11th house is what we call gains from the career. It is the profit, the bonus, the commission. It's the money that comes because of who you are and where you stand in your community. It's network-based income.
And Saturn, the planet of structure and discipline, is moving in there?
Yes. And Saturn, as we know, is the restrictor, or as I prefer to call him, the architect. Saturn in the 11th house dictates that you might need to pay dues before you get the payout.
Paying dues. What does that mean for a listener? Is that literal?
It might be. You might find yourself needing to invest in a professional organization, paying membership fees. You might be paying for a certification course that will increase your value later. Or, going back to the image theme, you might be buying that expensive suit or upgrading your tech.
So it feels like money going out, not coming in.
Initially, yes. It feels like an expense. But Saturn says, This is a necessary investment. This is you building the structure that will hold the wealth that is coming later. It's about delayed gratification.
But there is a specific restriction on February 15th regarding money, too, the Venus-Lilith square day.
Yes. On that Sunday, the energy turns highly restrictive and potentially treacherous. Very strict rules for the Gemini listener here. 1. Do not take any financial risks. No crypto trades, no speculative stocks.
And 2.
2. Do not lend money to friends on this day.
Not even a little bit. What if a friend is short, not even spotting them for lunch?
I would strongly advise against it. Saturn is moving to the 11th house, which governs friendships as well as gains. A financial transaction with a friend on this day under this tense energy is astrologically primed to go sour.
So you might not get it back.
You almost certainly won't get the money back, and more importantly, the dynamic of the friendship will be damaged. It will create resentment. The energy does not support generosity or gambling on the 15th. It supports budgeting. It supports looking at your spreadsheet and saying no.
No is a complete sentence on Sunday.
Got it. Okay, let's check in on the body and mind, health and wellness.
The key word for the entire week here is nervous energy.
Which, let's be honest, is Gemini's baseline state. You are ruled by Mercury, the messenger planet. You are always buzzing with information.
True, but this week it is amplified by about 1,000. You have all this high-stakes activity in the career sector, the spotlight, the pitch meetings, the faded conversations, the Lilith tension. It creates a buzz that is very hard to turn off.
You're running on adrenaline.
Constantly. And to add to that, on February 10th, the moon is in Sagittarius, your opposite sign. That opposition encourages burning the candle at both ends. You feel like you can do it all, but you're depleting your reserves faster than you realize.
And we have some specific physical vulnerabilities to watch out for. Throat and lungs. Yes. These are the body parts traditionally ruled by Gemini in medical astrology. When your sign is under this kind of stress or high stimulation, these are the areas that tend to flare up.
So if you're doing all this talking, all this pitching, all these important conversations,
you are straining the instrument. The advice is to proactively protect the voice. Drink warm tea with honey. Stay hydrated. And consciously breathe. It sounds so simple, but when Gemini gets manic, your breathing tends to become shallow, all in the chest.
which triggers the fight or flight response.
Exactly. It increases anxiety. You need to consciously drop your breath down into the diaphragm. Take 5 deep belly breaths before you walk into that big meeting. It will ground your entire nervous system.
And what about this note on social battery management?
This goes back to Saturn entering Aries on the 14th. Your social energy is undergoing a fundamental change. Being around too many people, especially in superficial settings, could feel unusually draining by the end of the week.
Which is really weird for a Gemini who usually feeds off the energy of the crowd.
It is weird, and it will feel strange to you. But remember, Saturn demands substance. Superficial chit-chat, which is usually fine, like a snack for you, is going to feel like junk food. It'd be exhausting.
Funny.
It drains the battery because your soul is now looking for something real, something structured.
So what's the prescription?
Ensure that alone time is scheduled into your calendar. Treat it like a meeting. You need to decompress from the high visibility demands of your career. If you don't schedule the downtime, your body will force it on you, likely through a cold or just pure exhaustion by Sunday.
Okay, that's a clear directive. Let's open up the cosmic toolbox. I love this part. We always look for the colors and numbers that vibrate with the week's energy. The color of the week is silver.
Silver. Specifically, hashtag C0C0C00 if you want to get digital about it.
Why silver? With all this talk of career success, I would have thought gold.
That's a great point. But gold is the sun. It's overt, it's loud, it's look at me. Silver's more subtle. It's connected to the moon in the modern era. Silver symbolizes prestige, yes, but also modernity and reflection.
It mirrors that public image theme we were talking about.
Exactly. It's shiny, it catches the eye, but it's cool to the touch. It's sophisticated, it has a tech energy, which is very Mercury-ruled.
So practically speaking, wearing silver accessories to those important meetings.
Definitely. A silver watch, silver jewelry, maybe a tie with a silver thread, even a metallic accent in your clothing. It aligns your personal aura with the frequency of cool prestige that Venus is offering.
Yes.
It says, I am valuable, but I am cool about it.
I like that. Cool prestige. And the lucky numbers. I'm seeing a definite pattern here in the notes.
The numbers are 5, 14, 23, 32, 45, and 55.
That is a lot of 5 shillers. 5, 45, 55. What's the significance there?
Well, Gemini is the 3rd sign of the zodiac, but in numerology, it is often associated with the number 5. 5 is the number of change, curiosity, and communication. It's dynamic. It is movement. It is the number of the messenger.
Which is Mercury.
Right. Seeing so many 5s this week suggests that things are not static. The ground is moving under your feet. You are moving. Opportunities are moving. You need to be adaptable and quick on your feet, which is your natural superpower.
And if you're planning your big moves, what are the best dates to take action?
Without a doubt, February 10th and February 11th, Tuesday and Wednesday.
So you have to catch that wave early in the week.
You have to. These dates align with the Venus entry into your 10th house and that peak grace period before the Saturn intensity sets in on the 14th. If you have a contract to sign, do it Tuesday. If you have a pitch to make, do it Wednesday. Do not leave the heavy lifting for the weekend. The energy will be completely different.
Okay, let's talk relationships again, but this time through the lens of compatibility. Who is going to help a Gemini get through this week, and who is maybe going to be a bit of a headache? The best match is listed as Libra.
Libra is the MVP for Gemini this week. Absolutely. The vibe is balance and harmony.
Well, they're both air signs, so that makes sense. They're on the same wavelength.
Exactly. They speak the same language. The intellectual connection is effortless. They can talk for hours without boredom, which Gemini desperately needs. But more importantly, let's look at why Libra is the best match for this specific week.
Okay.
Because Libra is ruled by Venus.
Ah, so they understand the Venus assignment. They get what this week is about.
They wrote the assignment. Libra naturally understands diplomacy, charm, social grace, and aesthetics. Since you, Gemini, are navigating this high-stakes social and career week, Libra is the perfect guide. They know how to schmooze. They know what to wear to the event. They know how to de-escalate a tense situation with a perfectly timed compliment.
So Libra is the ultimate wingman for this career mission.
The ultimate wingman. And Libra's natural diplomacy also helps to calm Gemini's nervous energy. When you're spinning out, overthinking everything, Libra says, let's look at this objectively. Let's find the middle ground. They provide the balance that you will crave by midweek.
And they're the perfect arm candy for that high-profile event we talked about.
The best. They make you look good, and they make the whole process feel smoother.
Now, for the tough news, the worst match of the week. And I'm sorry to our fishy friends out there, but it's Pisces.
It is a very difficult week for a Gemini-Pisces dynamic. The overarching vibe is confusion and frustration.
Why is that? Pisces is usually so chill and go with the flow.
It goes back to the specific planetary positions we discussed earlier. Mercury, your ruler, your brain, is conjunct the north node of destiny, and that conjunction is happening in Pisces.
So the Gemini planet, the planet of facts and data, is sitting in the sign of dreams and illusions.
Yes, and it creates a fundamental clash of elements. Gemini is air. You want clear facts, logic, data. You want to plan what time is the meeting, what is the ROI, yes or no.
Then Pisces is?
Pisces is water. They are mutability in its most fluid form. They offer fog, emotion, vibes, intuition.
So Gemini asks a direct question, and Pisces answers with a riddle or a feeling.
Precisely. Gemini says, did you send the final version of the email? And Pisces says, I was meditating on it, and I just felt like the energy wasn't quite right yet.
Oh, no. That is going to drive Gemini absolutely crazy this week.
It will feel like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall. The phrase used here is walking on eggshells.
Why that specifically?
Because Pisces is feeling very sensitive and elusive due to the North Node intensity in their sign. And Gemini feels like it can't get a straight answer, which makes you feel frustrated and maybe a bit sharp-tongued. So you feel like you have to be careful what you say, but you're also losing your patience.
So the risk here is relying on a Pisces for detailed, deadline-oriented work.
Yes. If you need a spreadsheet triple-checked or a schedule finalized down to the minute, do not give it to a Pisces this week. You will be disappointed, and it will lead to unnecessary conflict.
Good to know. So keep the Pisces friends for the poetry reading or the meditation session, but not for the project management.
Exactly. Context is everything. It's not that they're a bad sign. They're just a bad energetic match for the specific tasks you need to accomplish this week.
So let's wrap this all up with a final analysis. When you put all the pieces together, it really does feel like a hero's journey for Gemini this week.
It is. It follows that classic arc perfectly. You start the week with the call to adventure. That's Venus entering the 10th house. You're given the tools, the charm, the weapons of influence.
You walk in, you dazzle, you secure the bag in your career.
Right. That's the first act.
Right.
But then comes the ordeal, the journey into the underworld.
The ordeal is the Saturn shift and those Lilith tests.
That's it. You have to buckle down. You have to face the seriousness of Saturn entering Aries and what it demands of your social life. And you have to navigate the minefield of Lilith. by keeping your mouth shut, by choosing discretion over drama. It is about winning the public victory, but managing the private discipline.
And if you can do both, if you can charm the world and discipline yourself at the same time, you win the week.
That is the formula. That's how you come out of this week stronger, with a better reputation, and with a clearer sense of who your true allies are.
And as always, we like to leave our listeners with a provocative thought, something to chew on for the rest of the week.
As Saturn moves into Aries, beginning this long-term test of your friendships and alliances, I want every Gemini listening to ask themselves this one question. Who in your life is fueling your ambition, and who is just draining your battery?
Oof, that's a tough question. That requires a very hard, honest look in the mirror at the people you spend your time with.
It is, and it's not about good people or bad people. It's about energetic compatibility with your future. With this planetary shift, it might be time to edit the guest list of your life. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your success.
Wow. Edit the guest list of your life. That is powerful and a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for breaking all of this down with us.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating week.
And thank you to you, our listener, for tuning into this analysis on Horoscope TV. We hope this gives you the map you need to navigate the week of February 9th.
Use it well.
Make sure to subscribe so you get notified the moment the next forecast is available. You don't want to miss what happens next. Until then, keep looking up.